Hello friends, welcome back to OK Azure. I'm going to start a new web series on AZ 204, developing solutions for Microsoft Azure. And in this web series, I'm going to work on the practice set or lab hands-on provided by Microsoft Azure. Okay, so let's begin by looking at the course outline. The section one is develop Azure compute solutions, which covers 25 to 30% of the exam. Okay, here we basically have three components. One is to implement IaaS solutions, create Azure App Service, web apps, implement Azure functions. So these three concepts cover 25 to 30% of the exam. Okay, so if we talk about more in details, then we'll work on the virtual machines, Azure containers, Azure web applications, deployment, and on Azure functions. Okay, next section is develop for Azure Storage. Here in the second part, it covers 10 to 15% of the exam. And here we'll talk about Cosmos DB, blob storage. So this portion covers 10 to 15% of the exam, of the entire exam. Section 3 is implement Azure Security. It covers 15 to 20% of the question set. And it covers user authentication and authorization, implement secure cloud solutions. So basically here we'll talk about OAuth 2 authentication. We'll talk about Azure Active Directory and we'll see hands-on RBAC, which is role-based access control. We'll also learn how to secure Azure applications using app configuration and Key Vault API. Section 4, it says monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize Azure solutions. It covers 10 to 15% of your exam. Here we'll talk about integrate caching and content delivery network. So we'll see a practical example. We'll work on CDN networks and Redis cache both. Instrument solutions to support monitoring and logging. So here in this one, we'll talk about the logs like diagnostic logs or application log and other things or application insights. Okay. Section 5, connect to and consume Azure services and third-party services, which covers 25 to 30% of your entire exam. So again, a critical module. Here we'll talk about app service logic app. We'll talk about API management. We'll talk about message-based solutions. So here we'll talk about Azure Service Bus and Azure Message Queues. Then we'll talk about event-based solutions. So here we'll talk about Azure Event Grid, Azure Notification, and Azure Event Hub. So don't worry, guys. We'll do practice test. We'll develop applications using all the concepts. So that will make your understanding clear. Okay. So here is the entire course outline. First component or first module or section is develop Azure Compute Solutions, which cover 25 to 30% of your exam. It's very important. Next one is develop for Azure Storage. We'll talk about Cosmos DB and blob storage. Implement Azure Securities. So here we'll talk about Azure Active Directory, OAuth 2, right? And the next one is for the troubleshooting. It covers 10 to 15% of your entire exam. And last section is very important. Here we'll talk about Azure App Services, and third part we'll talk about event-based solutions, event hub notifications, message queues, Azure storage queues, and other things. So again, this is one of the critical module of the exam AZ 204. It covers 25 to 30% of the entire exam. Okay. Now we'll follow two websites. One is microsoftlearning.github.io. Here we have the task or practice set provided by Microsoft. So here you will see we have 13 exam set or lab task, which is provided by Microsoft. And we'll also we'll be using GitHub account of Microsoft Learning, because here we have some samples provided by Microsoft. So we'll make use of those samples and we'll complete the task shared by Microsoft. Okay, that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we'll start the hands-on. Thank you, and please do subscribe my channel.